What's going on, guys? Hope you're having an awesome day. I remember a while back, I was really getting into self-improvement and like the personal development field. I'd watch a ton of YouTube videos and read some books about how to improve my life in some way. And I'd keep doing this, but there would be no like actual action taken. I'd watch this YouTube video, then I'd go to the next, then I'd go to the next one, maybe read a book in between there, but I wasn't really applying it that much. There was very little to no action taken on my behalf. But what was even worse was that I was actually wasting quite a bit of my time just doing bullshit that I knew was bullshit. I knew that I shouldn't be scrolling on social media, but I did that anyways. I knew that I shouldn't be playing so many video games and like smoking weed, hanging out with friends for so long, but I did it anyway. And it's not necessarily that any of those things are objectively bad, because nothing's objectively bad. But I knew that if I wanted to become the person who I wanted to become, if I wanted to improve the quality of my life, I had to get rid of some of these things. I had to stop wasting my time on some of these activities because they were just taking away my time and focus. Let's just face it, a big part of the reason that we waste so much time is just because it's easier to do. I mean, it's a hell of a lot easier to spend 4 hours playing video games rather than doing something more productive. But we do understand, at least intellectually, that by not doing that thing, by not doing that hard work, we're going to be in a worse position than we could have been in the future. The time that we waste right now, we'll never get it back. And I've struggled with this problem for quite a long time. I've done things like try to use my willpower to force myself to do it. Like I might just be sitting down in my room bored, looking for something to do, but like, oh, I can't waste time, so I'm not gonna, go on social media or playing video games. But of course, eventually my willpower would just run out and I'd essentially relapse. I'd go back to doing those time-wasting activities. The greatest piece of advice that I could give you on this, and like after struggling with so many days of like procrastinating and like not doing shit compared to having like the really good days, from my experience at least, the best days that I've had in terms of productivity, it's been when I implemented this strategy. And I can almost guarantee that a lot of the people watching this video won't even take action on it because it just sounds so simple, and a lot of like the simple things, it's just like we kind of like let it go over our heads. Like a lot of the times the ego will just be like, oh, this is too simple of an answer. This can't possibly be the answer. I'll go looking for something else. But before you make the decision to like dismiss this and just say, oh, this is too simple for me, I'll go looking for something else, at least try it. Try this strategy for at least a week, and I guarantee you'll see a difference if you're not already doing this. The biggest thing that will help you to not waste time anymore is literally just to plan your day. It's something that a lot of people here be like, oh, this is too simple, like I've got to do something a little bit more complicated. This can't possibly be the answer, there has to be something else to it. And of course, this has just been my subjective experience, but I know that I'm not that unique. There's a lot of other guys out there like me. And out of the clusterfuck of information I've gotten about like time management on the internet, this has helped me the most. But so you want to plan your day, but the thing is, a lot of guys actually don't know how to go about planning their day. Like they'll just come up with a huge to-do list of things to do, but then like that just ends up leaving them overwhelmed. That's something that I used to do. I just like wrote a huge to-do list that would just make me overwhelmed, and then I just like quit planning my day because like, fuck, this is so stressful. The way that I plan my day is a little bit more intentional. Instead of just coming up with a huge to-do list of things that I think that I should do or should accomplish within that day, I think first of, okay, what is my result? What do I actually want to happen out of this day? Because there's a lot of to-do lists that you can do, but that won't actually or necessarily lead to the result that you want. For example, something that I might put on my to-do list is, okay, read an hour of a book. That by itself is a good thing to do, but if I don't know the result that I'm after, reading the book kind of just, it's not the same, I don't know if you've experienced this before, but when you're reading a book just to read it, just to like do it as a good habit, there's like only a certain level of like something that you get from it, It's kind of like being told to like do chores by your parents, or like having your teacher just assign you this random book to read. You don't get as much from it. But when you know the results that you're after, say, okay, I want to get better at managing my finances, and then you read a book after knowing that that's your result, you will get so much more out of that. So the first part of planning my day, I always have to come up with an answer. What is my result? What do I actually want? And that's going to be the first part. The second part of planning my day is I ask myself the question, okay, why do I want it? There may be multiple results that I want out of the day, like, okay, I want to build my body, and I also want to, learn this thing so I can get better at doing XYZ. For each of those results that I'm after, why do I actually want it? It's one of those steps that's really easy to overlook because it's like, I don't really need to know why I want to do it. I just know that I want to get it. But when you can use that introspection to your advantage to get to the root reasons of why you're motivated to do this thing, you're so much more likely to want to do it. It goes from being this purely rational, oh, I want to achieve this result or I want to achieve this goal, to actually having a reason behind it that motivates you and juices you for it. It's one thing to have a goal to make $1 million, but if the reason behind it is to like retire yourself and your family and like donate to all these charities so you can like help out and make this bigger contribution to the world, then your motivation to actually achieve like that goal that you set for yourself is so much higher. So the first part is to know what result or results that you're after, why you actually want them. And then the last part is what you're actually going to do to achieve those things. What are you going to do to achieve the result that you're after or to move towards it? These things will kind of be like your to-do list. This is where you're going to plan out, okay, what are the actual action steps that I can take towards achieving this goal? Now you might be thinking to yourself, oh, well, I could have just like come up with this to-do list from the start. Like there was no point of coming up with the results that I was after, or there was no point of like getting clear of the why. Well, the reason that you do this after, the reason why you come up with the action steps afterwards is because now you know specifically what result that you're after and specifically why. If you go straight to making that to-do list, it's going to be based off like things that you think that you should do, versus rather when you come up with, okay, what result you're actually after first and why. Now you're like, okay, the to-do list are more focused towards achieving that end, if that makes sense. The difference is from going to having something on your to-do list like, okay, read an hour of a book, to instead asking yourself, okay, what is my result? Okay, well, my result is I want to make new friends. Why do I want to make new friends? Because I feel lonely right now. I want to like have some fun with people. I want to feel loved. I want to feel connected, all of those nice things. And then on your to-do list, it's not just, okay, read an hour of this book. Now it's, okay, read, a chapter of this book and then apply it immediately. Or read an hour of this book and then go start applying it and like see if it really works. Basically, the difference is your to-do list is actually going to get you closer to that result rather than just being these things to do that don't necessarily get you closer or as close as you'd want to be. So as a recap, if you want to stop wasting so much of your time, you want to plan your day. To do this, you have to write down, okay, what results am I after, result or results? Why am I after them? Like, why do I want them? And then come up with the to-dos or the action steps that you need to do to achieve that result or to get closer towards them. I know this might be a lot of information at once, but I promise you it's going to help you. The last part of this, which is really crucial as well, is to plan out when you're going to do these things. Most of the time when we make a decision on what to do and end up wasting a lot of time, it's because we're subconsciously asking the question, what should I do right now? What should I do in this moment? And typically we're just going to default to whatever is easier, which is playing video games, scrolling on social media, wasting a bunch of time, whatever it is. And the thing is, even if you have this to-do list of things that you know are really productive and like you should do, your brain won't default to doing that because it's like, well, I could just put it off till a little bit later. Yeah, I have this to-do list of like these 3 things that I could do, but maybe I'll just put it off until later. I mean, after all, there's so much more time left in the day. Or at the very least, that was like my old process or way of thinking. What really changed the game for me, and I've like actually tested this, so I know that this makes such a huge difference. When I plan exactly the times where I'm going to do this activity, my brain doesn't default to, okay, let's just do this easy thing, because it knows, okay, we set the intention that we're going to do this at this time, let's go ahead and do it. When you plan out the exact time that you're going to do this activity, your brain no longer has excuses. When I've implemented this and literally planned out, okay, this is the exact block of time, like say 3 to 4 or 9 to 11, this is the exact time where I'm going to do this. My brain no longer comes up with those convenient excuses to waste time anymore because I literally said, okay, I'm going to do this at this time, let's rock. Really, a lot of this has to do with just making it easier for your brain to do the right thing. When it's something like the middle of the day and like you have this huge to-do list of things to do and then your brain has to make the decision of, oh, well, should we do this or should we do this easy thing? It's kind of hard in that moment for your brain to make the right decision to do like whatever that disciplined action is. But when you can pretty much like spell it out for your brain so it doesn't like have to go through all of that, cognitive load, you just say, okay, this is exactly what I want to do. This is why I want to do it. And this is exactly what we're going to do at this specific time. Your brain doesn't have to like make the decision. Like the decision's already made pretty much. And it's like, okay, well, let's just do it. I think that there's this weird misconception that to be really successful or to like be really productive, you have to like work really, really hard. And sometimes that is the case. Like sometimes you may be able to willpower your way through some things. But at least from what I've seen and from what I've experienced, every single time I've like tried to willpower my way or like really struggle to do something, it always ends up in me burning out. It always ends up in me like feeling a little bit angry and then like, fuck, I don't want to do this anymore, and then quitting for a bit. God, this shit doesn't work. All the advice these people are telling me is bullshit. I'll start thinking negative things about myself, like, God, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, I can't do this. Like, I must have, I don't know, just like thinking a lot of these negative things about myself. But the truth is, most of what it takes to like be more successful, get the results that you're actually after, it just takes like doing the right things, making that easier for you. Like, for example, if you take like a drug addict, say a crackhead, if you put a crack pipe right in front of him, of course it's going to be hard for him to resist that urge. Like, for example, if you take a guy who's really, really addicted to playing video games, like he just can't stop himself, he just wants to play video games 24/7. If you put a game right in front of him, of course it's going to be difficult for him to resist that urge. But if that same guy has something in his schedule that's fairly important to him, like say he's got a job interview for this place that he's really confident he could get a job in, or say he has a date with this girl that he's really attracted to, and it's like set in stone the time that he has to be there. Like say he scheduled it at 3 p.m. Of course it's going to be a lot easier for him to like actually go to that interview or that date with the girl, because it's already scheduled. Like he's made the decision in advance that he's going to attend that thing. Versus if it was like more ambiguous and it's like, oh, well, you can just do the interview anytime that you want, or we can go on this date anytime you want. Now it's like you're more willing to procrastinate because now you have to make a decision of, fuck, when do I actually want to do this? But anyways, planning this stuff out in advance and like making the decision for yourself that you're going to do this at this specific time, so it's not something that your brain has to struggle with to like make the decision, oh, should we do this or should we do this like more potentially fun thing. But pretty much by doing this, you're making life so much easier for yourself, because now in the moment where you've got to do like that productive thing, you don't really have to make the decision. The decision's already made for you. You know, okay, this is exactly what result I'm after. This is why I'm going to do this. This is the action that I need to take. And, this is exactly when I'm going to take it. And as a side note, it also helps to know where you're going to do it. Where am I going to read this book? Where am I going to work out? You make that decision for yourself in advance, and it just makes life so much easier. I hope that you got some value from this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. When you subscribe, you'll be joining this community of men who are dedicated to improving the quality of life. So if that's something that you want to be a part of, just hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace out.